there's loads of stuff that I get wrong, and it might be tiny details or it might be massive things. But that getting it wrong is really, that's where I come from. That's where I come from, you know? Otherwise, I would just be him. That's not to say he's my only influence, but that's how you find what is you. It's the stuff that you can't do. There's certain musicians who inhabit their own limitations to such a degree that it becomes something incredibly pure and amazing. So I'd say Jeff Beck, God rest his soul, was one of those. Where there's loads of stuff that Jeff Beck can't do. Like, he's not going to be playing Malmsteen licks, you know, or it's not going to sound, you know, be able to nail him anyway in that way. He can't do that. There's loads of stuff that he can't do. But then he's just developed, he developed this style within his own ability, what he could do, that was so fucking pure to what he physically could do. And it's just amazing. Another great example is Thelonious Monk, the jazz piano player. And he could play Beethoven, and you would know, if you're a Monk fan, within like a bar, it's Monk. You know, you just know. He's so kind of clunky and wonky, like an old-fashioned puppet being held by strings. His fingers land on the keys in this kind of weird way, rhythmically weird, dynamically weird. It's so odd, and yet it's so perfect. It's so perfect. And then you get the opposite. So in that case, you know, because we all have obstacles. It's all about obstacles. You might have a paradigm in your head of what you want to sound like, and then what you actually sound like, and you've got all these obstacles in between. And you can embrace those obstacles and make them the sound, or you can try to flatten all those obstacles down and reach the paradigm. So an example of that, and there's many, but I have to be careful with this one because some people might see it as a criticism, but Alan Holdsworth, I would say, as a guitarist, is a great example of that. He's someone who played almost as if he hated the guitar. And that's, again, I don't think these are actually things that he would argue with. So if you see that as a criticism, and I absolutely adored Alan Holdsworth.
I've heard this as well, yeah.
I loved him. But he saw all those obstacles, like the kind of edginess of the guitar sound that he didn't like, smooth it all out. Like the technical limitations that he had, well, fuck it, I'm just going to practice until I can do anything. The harmonic limitations, no harmonic limitations. I'm going to find a way to play. Doesn't matter what I'm playing over. I'm going to, the most complicated thing ever. It doesn't matter. There will be no obstacles to what is in here and what I want to create. It'll just be a smooth straight line. I'll use 7 compressors. I'll use 8 delay rack units live, but not for delay, just to create my reverb. And I'll, you know, everything is just to make it more, to get rid of all of those obstacles. But then it's odd because his playing still becomes about the obstacles that remain. And it's funny because to him, the obstacles are higher relatively because they're so much more important to him. They're so high. They seem so high to him. Do you know what I mean? Does this make sense? I don't know. I'm talking shit.
No,
but psychologically, there's those two approaches. And I'm not saying I take one approach or the other, but I certainly lean romantically towards the former, where you embrace the obstacles. That's not to say that I don't try and learn to play things that I can't do. And I don't sometimes do things that I shouldn't do, but, you know, it's probably something that's relatively recent as a kind of realization to me as well, or something that I've truly embraced more recently. So, yeah, I think that's the failure thing.